What's good, gamers? It is Monday, January 15th? Question mark? 15th. I have class in about an hour and a half. Oof, bright screen. And I just got finished watching The Sub. Fun stuff today. I don't think I have anything fun that really happened today. I injured myself a lot. I got a nice like scar on my hand there. Man, it's so bright. Fuck. But yeah, that I got that and I got that. Fun stuff at work today. Um Episode time. We open on that same mushroom land that uh, Goku and the gang were driving through last episode. Got my notes up right here. They're still being trailed by Yamcha. Bulma says, Not long. Not long until wish time." And Bulma's thinking about how she's going to wish for a boyfriend. Oolong asks what she's going to wish for, and she tells him a boyfriend. Oolong's like, "Are you fucking serious? A boyfriend? That's a waste of a wish." Bulma says, "I think you're jealous." Which different slightly in the sub. Oolong calls it a stupid wish versus a waste of a wish. And they nearly crash into a tree. We get the title card. The Dragon Balls are stolen. In the sub, it's also the Dragon Balls are stolen. So exact same title today. That's nice. I will notice that, or I will note that in the sub, the D and the B are abbreviated for Dragon Ball. So I don't know what that means. They're just abbreviated. So maybe in the sub it's actually the DB are stolen. I'm not sure. Anyway, when they were fighting about the wish, in the sub, Oolong calls it a stupid wish, and Bulma calls him a kid, and he says, "Who are you calling a kid?" And that's why they almost crash into a tree. Versus in the dub, um, they're just like bickering about how dumb the wish is. Um, Mai is working on a tracker for the Dragon Balls. Pilaf is threatening to feed her to alligators. Mm. Difference in the sub versus the dub. Sorry for the radio silence there. I was just getting sucked in. Um, Pilaf gives her 10 seconds to finish the dragon radar for them. Um, Pilaf gives them 10 seconds to finish the dragon radar, and Mai, to distract him from counting to 10, first in the sub asks what she should make for dinner. And then, if Pilaf knows that there's a big tit supermarket lady, she doesn't say big tit exactly, but that's what she says. Um, in the dub, she I actually wasn't paying close enough attention to find out what she said the first time. But the second time, when she's trying to distract him, she flatters him and talks about what a big brain he has. Um, and how distracting it is for her to have to work under him with his big brain and his masculine tendencies. Um, and finally, Pilaf's like, screw it. If the radar's not going to work, just go find the fucking monkey boy. And Maya's like, already got it. And we see a kind of crow like robot bird fly into the window to symbolize that they've been being followed by this spy bot. Shu comes along and uh, doesn't really have anything to report to Pilaf in the dub. But in the sub, he shows up specifically to tell Pilaf that it's nap time. It's time for your nap. Pilaf's like, you better be coming to me with good news. And Shu's like, it's time for your nap. Uh, so, in the dub, Oolong protests Bulma's selfish, stupid wish by stopping the car, um, and refusing to drive. In the sub, Oolong stops driving because Bulma's disrespecting him and saying that he's not doing anything. When he's been driving them around the entire time. He's like, I'm not going to go anywhere. Uh, so, yeah. And then, of course, Bulma once again says, I will give you diarrhea. And then she does. She goes, beep, beep, beep. Or in the dub, it's piggy, piggy, piggy. And he goes and has diarrhea. But as soon as they go to take off from the place that they stopped, Shu, in a robot mech suit, fires a rocket at them, disables the vehicle, and jumps down to start searching their belongings for the Dragon Balls. He finds them. He finds them and he says, thank you and so long, suckers, in the dub. Whereas in the sub, he says, sorry. He actually apologizes for stealing the Dragon Balls. Bulma, Goku mistook the robot that Shu like jumped down in for an actual person in the sub. But Shu is escaping in his robot mech. Bulma's like, Goku, please go get him. Um, Goku calls the Nimbus and starts flying after him. Bulma shouts after him, go get him. We're counting on you. Which is about the same in the sub. Shu ditches the robo like mech suit, and Mai picks him up and they make their escape. In the sub, they said that went a lot easier than expected. Goku has now Goku has now stumbled upon the mech suit and called it a monster. So the only like slight difference is in the sub he thinks it's a person, in the dub he thinks it's a monster. Uh, but yeah, he's presently just kind of poking around at it. We get a lot in this episode, a lot of like speech bubbles with the ellipses, just to kind of denote confusion or speechlessness, I suppose. Um, in the sub, Goku knocks over the robot, and then after like not getting a response from it, says he's dead. What a weakling. Hmm. Okay. Another difference from the sub to the dub. Again, I'm sorry for the like radio silence. I I need to turn on the subtitles honestly, but uh, that involves hooking up an entirely new apparatus for reading discs, since I don't know where my fucking remote is. Anyway, uh, Oolong in the dub uh, offers to be Bulma's boyfriend. She's like, fuck no. He's like, your loss. And then he says, I know what you're after. Uh, you want you don't want a real man. You want this fantasy man. Um, which is about what he says in the dub, uh, but a little harsher. Um, he follows up asking to be her boyfriend with wishing for one is the only way she'd ever get a boyfriend. She falls into a sense of despair after realizing that they took all the Dragon Balls, and Goku's like, "What about this one?" Because he's still carrying the 4 star on his hip, and she's like, "Ooh, thank you, Goku. We're gonna go get the other ones," and then remembers that their car is out of commission, and she's like, "Oh, those capsules that I bought in the other town." And then remembers that her suitcase got stolen with all of the Dragon Balls and the capsules. So, once again, despair. Yamcha from around the corner is like, well, I guess we have to help again. Uh, and Yamcha pulls up and is like, hey, what a coincidence running into you here. Um, so Bulma puts on the charm, the schmooze, and says, "Hey, would you give us a ride?" Ting or ting, one of those. Um, and little hearts appear around. Episode kind of bores me, to be honest. It's a lot of like driving in the desert. Um, but yeah, uh, she asks Yamcha and Puar to close their eyes, and Yamcha thinks he's gonna get kissed, when in reality, Bulma's just pulling up the dragon radar to see where the other balls are. She asks Yamcha to drive a little bit faster, um, and specifically in the sub, she says the words cheek rub. She goes, cheek rub, while she's rubbing her cheek against his, which I thought was just kind of corny, kind of loser behavior. Uh, Pilaf is celebrating having all of the Dragon Balls. they multiple times, they being Mai and Shu, tell him there's only 6 Dragon Balls while he's celebrating, and there's a little like slapstick, I can't hear you, I'm so happy, stuff going on. And he finally realizes and is furious. He's so mad that he doesn't have all 7. Which, granted, they did just bring back 5. Um, they're standing at attention, receiving a verbal thrashing from Pilaf when the new and improved radar for them shows that the last ball is moving towards them. And they're like, oh, lucky us. They're delivering it to us. We don't have to do any of the work. So Goku's flying along on the Nimbus alongside Yamcha, Puar, Bulma, and Oolong. Yamcha seems to be recovering from the ride. Apparently, it was tough on him riding next to Bulma that whole way. Puar's like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, I gotta make my wish, and then I will be okay." They arrive at Pilaf's kind of castle dungeon type thing. Heavy door, Goku pushes it open, and they walk into a pitch black corridor. Uh, it's got kind of like blue tinted brick just to show you that there's not much light in there. You see many pairs of eyes on the ceiling, and it's bats. They're swarming the group. Um, but you know what are bats gonna do? They all fly out. Uh, Bulma latches on to Yamcha, and Yamcha's like, "Get the fuck off!" and pushes her away. And she's like, "What'd you do that for?" And he's like, Bulma says, "Less talking, more walking." She's just kind of a butthole. Um, I only have 2 more notes from the sub, so not much happened this episode, it seems like. We see a shot of a spider descending from the ceiling, and Pilaf's like, "Ah, yes. So this must be another robotic invention of his." Um, and as we see the Z crew again, pillars start coming out of the walls, uh, trying to crush the gang. And Bulma gets caught on the top of one of those that's rocketing towards the ceiling. And Yamcha breaks it in half for her. Yamcha then is attacked by pillars of his own. Goku goes to break it after Yamcha has limbo like dodged underneath it, and it falls on top of him. Goku like slices it clean in half, and that pillar falls on top of him. Yamcha's pissed off. He's like, "Why the fuck did you do that?" And Bulma cuddles up to him again, and she says, "Oh, thank you, Yamcha. You saved me." And Yamcha yells. He's just like me, for real, for real. There's no moves there. In both the sub and the dub, Pilaf complains about the quality of the trap. He says, "Who built this?" And Mai hits him with the "You did." Lord Pilaf, Emperor Pilaf. They're now moving a bit more carefully through the corridor, very dark corridor, kind of flushing themselves against the wall in a sneaky fashion. You know how you would sidestep. Well, everyone's sneaking except for Bulma, who's kind of just stepping lightly, um, like a Scooby Doo character. You know, just fucking. Uh, Puar and Oolong, in the sub, agree to be friends for today, as they're kind of spooked about their current situation. They all hop off the wall, and it seems like they've fallen into another trap as a wall descends from the ceiling and boxes them in. I feel like the trap could have been done a little better. I have to hear the narrator. Okay. Um, yeah, I only saw one wall come down. I didn't see two, so it doesn't seem like they're actually trapped, but I know the idea is supposed to be that they're enclosed in four walls. Anyway, that's the end of the episode. I did write down in the sub, specifically, the narrator says, all seven Dragon Balls will be brought together in the next episode of Dragon Ball. But in the dub, he kind of leaves on a cliffhanger. He's kind of like, what will happen next? Find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball. So they tell you what's going to happen in the sub, uh, which is an interesting tactic. I think that would pull me in more than uh, kind of leaving it on a cliffhanger, because I still want to see, even if, you know, even if I know what's going to happen. Um, but yeah, that's it for this episode. Vibes kind of felt off today, but hopefully we'll fix that tomorrow. I'll go to class, I'll get my fucking exercise in, and we'll do the thing. But I appreciate you sticking around. Have a good night. Yeah. Bye.